Hey guys! You know, I just learned that's not fun is that on Android you can't switch in video from like one side of the camera to the other side. It doesn't make any sense. We're just doing this anyway. Here's the thing. I've gotten a couple of emails from a couple of people, students, advisees, etc., just telling me they're having trouble keeping track of all the work that they're getting, all the emails that they feel like they're getting bombarded with from teachers. And I get it. Your teachers are still kind of trying to figure out what all this means and how we should do this. So I think, probably are throwing more at you than maybe we should, and I think we'll figure that out. The school is also trying to figure out a way to streamline and centralize those things. But in the meantime, I think it's also just good to think about how to organize these things, because this is the same kind of thing you're going to deal with in college, to be honest. Like this level of, like, again, so much communication, so much stuff, I don't want to do it. So let me just talk about a couple of things that I do that make my life easier. I deal with the same exact thing at school. I teach two different 12th grade English classes. I have an advisory. I am the department chair for the English department. I do the yearbook, and I have other roles that I serve at school. So I also sometimes have a hard time sort of just keeping track of the communication and making sure I'm keeping on top of all the stuff that I need to get done. So let me talk about some of the stuff that I do. I'm going to give you some tips that my wife is a learning specialist, and one of the things she loves talking about most actually is helping students organize their workflow. So I'm going to give you some tips that I've seen her give to students as well. And hopefully, I don't even know where my head is in this video right now. Who knows? Anyway, let's get to it. First thing, if you don't already have your inbox organized this way, I would encourage you to do this. So the way my inbox is organized is all of my unread emails are on top before everything else. And you can do that by going to inbox, clicking this little down arrow, and then choose unread first. Let me tell you why I think this is a good idea, or how I use it. If I open up an email and I read it, but I don't do the thing it tells me to do. So let's say it's you need to write a letter of recommendation for somebody. Until I have written that thing or done that thing, I always make sure that I mark this as unread so that it's in the top of my inbox. So if I were you and I got an email from a teacher that was like, here's what you need to do this week, I would make sure that that email stays unread. So it's in the top of your email inbox. And then the second that you have completed that thing and turned in all the work, I would mark it read or delete it so it's gone. So that's one kind of simple thing you can do that I think is a little bit helpful. It also means you need to do a better job of probably just staying on top of your email. If you get junk mail you're never going to read, just delete it. Otherwise, just mark everything as read that's not important. And then the stuff that's marked unread will stay on top. The other thing I would do is just go straight old-fashioned pen and paper. This is what I do for my planning every week. But I would literally just sit down. I would write down all the subjects that you have. I would just make a list. So I'd be like, math. You'd see my horrible handwriting right now. English. For my advisees, WGC. Whatever. None of you have chemistry, but that's fine. I would just make this list, and then I would write things in here, like what is the assignment. I would do it on a single page. So I'd go into my email, I'd read my math teacher's email, I'd write down the stuff I have to do. Find that English email, write it down. Find that reading email, write it down. And I would put it here, and I just cross stuff off as I go through. That's a simple thing to do that I think can be helpful. I know you're like, oh, I have to write things down in my email. Well, just suck it up and do it. Another thing that's really helpful, I think this method has a name of some sort. I just don't know what it is. So another thing you can do is, if you have Post-its, or you can use masking tape, anything really. You make a sheet of paper like this, have it be to do, in progress, finished. And then here's what you do. In the to do column, you just put everything you have to do. So math 1, right? English 1. And you would put the specific assignments here. And you just keep putting Post-its on here until you get most of the work or all of the work. And maybe this gets kind of crowded. But just wait till you've got it all there. Most of you shouldn't be getting more than about, I don't know, 10 or at most a dozen assignments a week right now. which honestly is probably less than you're actually doing when we were at school together, so keep that in mind. And then what you do, so this is all stuff I have to do. Now, the second I start something, put it in this column. The trick is, don't ever have more than 2 or 3 things in the in progress column. So until you've finished one of the 3 things in here, and you can put that there and you can go, yay, and have a little dance party and be excited that you finished it. But until you actually finish one of the things from this column, everything else stays over here, not even touching it or thinking about it. Part of that is if you're trying to work on more than 2 or 3 things at once, your brain is going to go crazy. It's like, think about like your computer when you have like 30 windows open or like 30 tabs open on a browser, you know how it starts to get slow? Your brain kind of does the same thing, believe it or not. So by making sure you only have like, we'll just use the tab analogy, 2 tabs open, like 2 things you're actually working on or 3 things you're working on here, it just helps you stay focused on it and keep track of it. This is also fun because then it's just like an exciting thing to be like, I finished that, it's done, woo! So that's another quick and easy thing you can do. The last thing I would say is obviously like organize a workspace. I mean, I'm on the floor in my bedroom right now because I have 2 kids and the house is crazy and there's like laundry on the bed and I just don't have a good space to be right now either. But you just got to find a space where you can focus for a little bit. So find wherever that quiet space is that is in your house. If you got to take a flashlight into a closet, you got to take a flashlight into a closet. If you have to go to the bathroom and just pretend that, you know, you're spending longer in there than usual, do what you got to do, but find that space. And another thing I encourage you to do is like set a timer. Set a timer for like, pick a thing you're going to work on, set a timer for 30 minutes, focus for 30 minutes. And then once that 30 minutes is up, like reward yourself. Go, you know, take your phone out for 5 minutes. Text a friend, look at Facebook, have a Diet Coke. Like whatever that reward is you need to have for 5 or 10 minutes, go do that thing. And then come back, but kind of build yourself a schedule or a routine and reward yourself in some small way when you get the work done. I don't encourage you to try to like work in like 4-hour chunks. That's not good for your brain. But breaking things up into like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, even 15 or 20 minutes if you're just having trouble focusing, and then rewarding yourself when you get to the end of that can be super helpful. Anyway, those are a couple of quick ideas. I hope they're kind of helpful. That's it. If you have other questions about stuff like that, I like to think about this stuff a lot. My wife is like basically a professional at this stuff, so I can ask her for more stuff if you'd like more advice, and I can ask her to make a video. But otherwise, hang in there. Thanks for checking this out. Thanks for being awesome. I'll talk to you soon. What?